Here's the truth. You're going to drift. Not because you're undisciplined, not because you didn't build strong enough rituals, but because you're human. And life doesn't care about your anchoring practices. Welcome to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential, the podcast where your transformation begins. I'm Shawn Michael, and each day I'll bring you quick, impactful insights and action steps to fuel your personal and professional growth. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or someone ready to break limits and ignite greatness, this is your daily power boost to crush obstacles, stay focused, and awaken the extraordinary potential within you. Because remember, greatness begins within. Let's go. Welcome back to Daily Power Boost. Yesterday, we closed Arc 1 by building your anchor practice, rituals that keep you grounded. Today, we're addressing the reality no one talks about. You're going to drift anyway. A crisis will hit, a deadline will loom, life will get chaotic, and the rituals you protected, they'll slip. The journaling will stop, the walks will get skipped, the silence will disappear. Here's where most leaders go wrong. They feel shame. They think, I failed. I'm not disciplined enough. I should have been stronger. But drift isn't failure. Drift is inevitable. The question isn't, how do I never drift? The question is, how do I reset when I do? Several months ago, I went through a season I didn't see coming. Financial stress, long hours, the kind of grind where you tell yourself it's temporary. But temporary stretches into months. And my rituals, they didn't disappear overnight. They faded. I'd skip journaling one morning because I needed to get to work early. Then I'd skip the walk because I was too tired. The silence then disappeared because my mind was too loud with worry to sit in it. And I felt myself slipping. More reactive, more scattered, more running on fumes than clarity. And the shame started creeping in. You know better. You teach this. How did you let this happen? But then I remembered something a mentor told me a long time ago. Leaders who last aren't the ones who never drift. They're the ones who know how to come back. So I stopped shaming myself, and I reset. Here's what happens when you don't have a reset ritual. You drift, and then you spiral. You miss one day of your practice, then a week, then a month, and instead of resetting, you quit. Because you've made it all or nothing in your mind. If I can't do it perfectly, why bother? That's not how sustainable leadership works. Sustainable leadership isn't about perfect consistency. It's about resilient resets. Here's the shift. You need a reset ritual, a practice you do when you've drifted that brings you back to center. Not a dramatic overhaul, not a starting over from scratch moment, just a simple, repeatable way to come home to yourself. Let me reframe what a reset ritual actually is. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about reconnecting with what's still true. The reset ritual says, I drifted, that's okay. Here's how I come back. And the best rituals, they're actually quite simple. Because when you're drifting, you might not have the capacity for complex. You need something you can do today, right now, that will remind you who you are. And that reset, that's what protects you tomorrow. The accountability question. Who's speaking truth to you? Because you can reset yourself when you notice the drift. But what about the drift you don't even notice? That's why you need people who are allowed to say, you're not acting like yourself. But let me go ahead and wrap up today. Here's your reset ritual practice. Start with asking yourself, have I drifted? Be honest. If the answer is yes, don't shame yourself. Just choose one anchoring practice and do it today. 5 minutes of journaling, 10 minutes of walking, 5 minutes of silence. That's your reset. Not perfect, not dramatic, just reconnection. The leaders who last aren't the ones with perfect consistency. They're the ones who know how to come back when they've drifted. Because drift is inevitable, like I said. But staying drifted, that's optional. This was the reset ritual, what to do when you've drifted. Tomorrow, the accountability question, who's speaking truth to you? Because you can reset yourself when you notice the drift, but you need people who notice it for you when you can't. With strength and heart, I'm Shawn Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.